If you've been scrolling through endless lists of tiny gaming rigs, watching video after video about the most powerful mini PC, and still feel that knot of uncertainty about whether you're about to waste a good chunk of cash, you're not alone. The market is saturated with flashy numbers, and it's easy to wonder if a compact box can really handle modern titles without turning your desk into a sauna. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this video I'm going to break down the ASUS NUC 15 Performance Barebone kit the way a real-world buyer would, looking at how it fits into a typical gaming setup, where the value really lies, and who should give it a pass. First, let's talk about the core dilemma most people face when they consider a mini PC for gaming. You want something that doesn't dominate your workspace, you want lower power draw than a full-size tower, but you also need enough horsepower to push 1080p or even 1440p frames at a smooth rate. The NUC 15 promises next-level performance in a chassis that's roughly the size of a paperback book. That claim sounds great on paper, but the practical question is, does the combination of an Intel Core Ultra 7 CPU and an NVIDIA RTX 5060 mobile GPU actually translate into a playable experience for titles like Elden Ring or Fortnite when you pair it with a decent monitor? And, because it's a barebone kit, how much extra investment does it demand to become a usable system? Starting with the processor, the Core Ultra 7 belongs to Intel's latest Series 2 line, which integrates AI acceleration directly into the silicon. In day-to-day use you'll notice that the CPU handles background tasks, streaming music, running Discord, keeping a web browser open without the kind of hiccup you sometimes see on older low-power CPUs. When you launch a game, the CPU isn't a bottleneck for most modern titles, especially at 1080p. What really moves the needle is the RTX 5060 mobile GPU. It's a step down from desktop RTX 3060 cards, but because it's a mobile part it's designed to run cooler and consume less power, which aligns perfectly with the NUC's quiet flow cooling system. In practice, you can expect solid 6070 frames per second in many esports titles and respectable 4555 frames per second in more demanding AAA games at medium-high settings. That's enough to enjoy a fluid experience without constantly tweaking every graphics knob. One of the biggest hidden trade-offs with a mini PC is thermal headroom. The NUC's compact chassis forces the cooling solution to work harder, and while ASUS advertises quiet flow, the reality is that under sustained load the fans do ramp up noticeably. It's not deafening, but you'll hear a gentle whir that some people might find distracting in a quiet room. On the upside, the temperatures stay within safe limits, so you won't see throttling that drags performance down after 10 minutes of intense gaming. If you plan to game in a bedroom or a small office, the noise level is still acceptable, but it's something to be aware of if you need total silence. Now let's talk about the expandability angle, because that's where the NUC really starts to differentiate itself from a typical all-in-one console. The kit comes with two M.2 slots, one for a PCIe 4.0 SSD and a second for a SATA or PCI SSD. That means you can install a fast 1TB NVMe drive for your OS and favorite games, while tucking a larger HDD or a second SSD for media libraries. The flexibility extends to RAM. It supports DDR5, so you can outfit it with 16GB or 32GB sticks, depending on how much multitasking you expect. The key point is that you're not locked into a single storage or memory configuration. You can upgrade over time as your needs evolve. The downside is the cost. DDR5 modules are still pricier than DDR4, and a quality NVMe drive will add a noticeable bump to the overall budget. If you were hoping for a plug-and-play solution straight out of the box, you'll need to factor in those extra components. Connectivity is another area where the NUC shines, especially for a gaming rig. It has Thunderbolt 4 ports that double as DisplayPort, so you can drive a 4K monitor at 60 Hz with a single cable while also feeding power and data to an external GPU dock if you ever feel the integrated RTX 5060 is limiting. Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 5.4 ensure you get the newest wireless standards, which translates to lower latency for online gaming and a smoother experience when you connect wireless peripherals. In my tests, the Wi-Fi connection held steady even in a crowded apartment building, and there was no noticeable lag when streaming from a PC to a TV over the network. So, who should actually consider buying this NUC? If you're a gamer who values space, maybe you live in a dorm, a small apartment, or you simply hate the clutter of a tower and you're comfortable assembling a system, this is a solid match. It's also a good fit for creators who need a capable machine for video editing or 3D rendering on the side, because the